people are actually showing up for this, which is good.
Yeah.
Well, some.
Like a person showed up. Like someone showed up.
Some people.
Whatever.
But no, I mean, I know of at least 5 that aren't here. So, I mean, they're coming.
There's
5
more than
confirmed.
5 people who are not
confirmed. I know of at least 5
I know of
more.
at least 5 Outcomes listeners who are not at this.
There are
I can name at
possibly
least
10.
5 people that I know in my life who are not here, at least.
Games, video 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 games.
It's August 4th, 2012, and I just paid $2 for Bawls.
This is Idle Thumb 68, and I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Jake Rodkin,
I'm Nick Brecken.
And I'm Steve Gaynor.
and Sean Vanneman isn't here because he's not. Yeah, so thank you guys for showing up to this episode of Idle Thumbs.
Yep, thanks, we appreciate it.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
We don't know how to do these very well. We did one
Yeah,
at
we're bad at
PAX,
live episodes.
and that was 2 years ago.
But now we're at QuakeCon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Enjoying a lot of sweet PC games.
Yeah,
And doing a podcast.
Yeah.
we played Dishonored.
That's
That
definitely
was
true.
fun.
We all played a lot of Dishonored, kind of, because it's seemingly a pretty sweet game.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Have you guys gotten to play Dishonored? Anybody here gotten to go down to the floor and check it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. JP's excited.
Yeah, it's a first-person stealth game. It's kind of like a cross between Thief and BioShock. Like you stealth around and assassinate dudes, but also you have mystical powers.
Supernatural.
Oh, sorry. Can you?
What is this? Get out.
It's the only reason I'm here to just like.
Can you disambiguate that shit, Bethesda representative? What is the difference between supernatural and mystical powers in this case?
I don't know.
The difference is that one of them is on the press release.
Yeah, one of them is on the
and one of
box.
them isn't.
And yes.
So yeah, some sort of
it's-
supernatural ghost or something gives you powers.
So correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. You play a ghost
Yes.
who is honorable, and you cast spells on a
Now
robot.
I have to quit. Yeah. No, it's a pretty good game though.
So you got to play, Chris, the level that was out on the show floor, right? The one where you're supposed to kidnap a scientist.
Oh,
Did
I
you play
also
a different
played
one?
that.
They also yesterday they were showing one where you went to a party and it was like there weren't guards around. You could just wander around a party, kind of like observing and stuff for a long time. That was what
Can
they
you
had in the
party?
press room yesterday. You can't like press X to party down or anything. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
That's pre-release build. It's fine.
Yeah, they'll get that in. They'll get that in. But no, it's a really interesting game because it's very non-linear. Like especially the party level that I played, where it's just like you walk around this estate and you can just kind of go up and talk to people and see what's going on. And people are just walking around having conversations.
Could you deploy rats in the party?
Yes, you could.
Because in the demo on the show floor, you have a power of some kind that isn't a plasmid.
Yeah.
Where it's not, but where you can just summon a bunch of rats that come flying up out of, I guess, presumably the holes in the environment, but they just sort of come out of the ground, and then they eat people until all of their skin comes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, and it also attracts other like guards get distracted by the fact that there's a rat eating a guy, and then they also start getting devoured by rats.
Do real rats get attracted by like the rotting corpus?
Oh, I don't know if
created by the
environment
ghost
rats do, but
They do.
Like,
the thing
they
that
do, really?
do.
The thing that's the best about the rats.
I was kidding.
eating
That's a
guys-
real
yeah,
thing
no,
that happens
yeah.
in this game.
Rats summon guards and rats. That's the two properties of rats.
Does the game, if you let it run long enough, will you just crash your system because so many rats?
The rats
propagation?
eventually
Yeah.
dissipate, but the rats
Yeah,
eat these
this
guys
game's
until they're
bullshit.
nothing but just like muscle and gristle, just this weird, just sort of skinless guy. But then the best thing about
It's
that
a cool
is
game.
you can still walk up to that big sort of pile of vaguely connected limbs and hold X to pick it up like you would a regular corpse. So I was playing the mission on the show floor and I picked up this just puddle of musculature. It was just gross. Walked into the room where the guy was that I'm supposed to be like escorting back out, and then just threw this horrible ruined body down on the table, and nothing happened. But I was really excited by that. Like, yeah. Also, just summoning rats.
That's also a pretty good way to like pacify somebody who you're supposed to be capturing. This is the last guy that I was supposed to bring in.
Yeah, it makes you into the worst person in a really good way, where you can alert guards to your presence by just throwing the skinless remains of their friend right in front of their feet from a 3th-floor balcony.
Well, Steve was saying it's a really intellectual game.
Yeah.
It's
a thinking man's video game.
It's a thinking man's rat
It's a game
summoner.
for the thinking sociopath.
Yeah.
Well, but that kind of thing. There are a lot of ways to be, expressive or just decide I'm going to do something weird and then actually do it in the game.
Yeah.
And you noticed me do something, and I don't know what it was, but you said you were going to tell me what I did that you saw me do.
You rescued a prisoner who walked up to you and started telling you information, and then you just immediately strangled them to death. And then you picked up their corpse and threw it onto the mattress so it landed in this really awkward splayed position, and then you walked away. And I was like,
no. but then he came back and threw another man on top of that man.
Oh, no, these are two different things.
Yeah.
So let me explain. So one was, there was, so you go to the scientist area and he's like dictating this thing about how he's going to like vivisect this person or something, and they're in a cage, and so you can unlock the cage, and they're like, thank you, and I was like, you're welcome. And then I went around behind them and just choked them out and threw them on the ground for no reason whatsoever. The thing that Nick is talking about is in the party level, it's in a huge estate, right? And like the party's going on downstairs, and then people's bedrooms are upstairs. I'm not supposed to go up there, so I was sneaking around up there, and these guards started to see me, so you have tranq darts, you can knock people out, so I knocked out one and dragged his body into a bedroom so nobody would find it, and then his friend came around the corner, I knocked him out, and I was like, this will be scandalous. And I threw them on top of each other on like the ladies' bed, and I was like, they're going to get in some trouble.
You said tee and
I
walked
did.
out of the room.
It was
the door.
So also there's a video game in this video game that doesn't involve just fucking around doing stupid things, but that was what we enjoyed about it.
Yeah.
That's the idle thumbs mode. Is they just remove all the level structure and like missions, and it's just sandbox of creating like sex scandal tittering.
I can possess a guy and walk him into a pile of rats. But then you depossess him and find out that you're the one in the rats, which is too bad.
Yeah, how does that work? Because I possessed a guy.
What's the magical explanation behind the possession?
Yeah, is that mystical?
Or mystical?
It's sort of a spoiler.
Ugh.
Oh.
Who invited this God.
There's a ghost man.
I knew it.
There is. There's a supernatural man, and he gives you the powers.
They've talked. That's not a spoiler.
That's not what I meant, though.
That's
I
not a
just
spoiler
meant-
to say that much.
I just
the
meant mechanically
outsider.
because I like climbed up a bunch of rafters
where
and I was
the possessed guy
okay.
is.
Yeah, I didn't
That's what
understand.
happened.
I was confused.
Because I thought that I was walking around a guy inside of his head, and then I would warp back to myself. Like, Steve, you found out that it didn't work that way because you possessed the guy and then walked him off a cliff into the water, and then tried to jump out of him, and then found out that you were the one off the cliff.
I was
which
also
is,
in the water.
Twitter chillers.
Twitter chillers.
Yeah.
What else were we going to say about this game? It looks really pretty.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful game.
I like that it's very. This is something that I think a lot of games in this vein have. If you go back to the kind of Looking Glass stuff and BioShock, like a lot of the game experience is just very muted. I mean, that's expressed in the art direction as well. It's a very, visually speaking, it's sort of a quiet game. It looks really nice. It looks really beautiful, but there's not like.
It's not just exploding in your face all the time.
Play it.
Well, obviously the things that happen are ridiculous, but in a good way. But it's tonally, it's not super in your face.
Yeah.
And I like that because to me it's suggestive of the kind of open-ended avenues that are available to you in the gameplay, which is that the game is not overtly trying to message you a tone, right? Like it's not throwing a bunch of explodey cutscenes in your face and implying that that's what you should be trying to mirror in the
So I think it
gameplay.
is. I mean, because it's doing the opposite, right? It's saying like, you should probably try to be quiet and blend in, because the opposite would be you should be trying to explode everything constantly, which is what most games do.
But
right?
still, all of your actual verbs are, pretty much all your verbs are violent in nature, so I feel like there's enough implication. Like, it's a video game, so the implication is always murder everybody. That's just always there.
But so the tone has to work against that, right? Which is, I think, part of what they're trying to do.
Oh, fair enough, yeah. So they balance it out. I like it. It's cool.
And it is a really nice looking game. It's the guy who did the art direction for Half-Life 2 got hired
Victor
on for
Antonov,
it.
Yeah, he did. Well, he did the sort of architectural stuff, and then Sebastian Mitton at Arcane did the sort of character art and larger scope.
Well, because like the mechanical stuff.
Who painted those
definitely-
bricks?
I don't know, Jim.
What are you here for?
I don't know. It's awkward. It's so awkward to talk about this game because I don't know. I see it every day, and I basically live this game for months. And
sounds like fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I mean, like my job in the last 2 weeks was to just basically make creative kills of dudes. So like everything that you guys did in like 5 minutes.
So you can put them on an internet?
I just do that for like 2 weeks. Yeah, we're gonna put it on the internet, so it'll be good.
Oh, Creative Kills.
Creative Kills. It'll be the Creative Kills. Yeah, .net.org.
A Creative Kills license attribution.
That's gonna be expensive because you're gonna have to register net.org to do that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good game though. Yeah.
Did anyone here actually bring their own computer? Yes.
Oh, we got BYOCers.
I have nothing to say about that other than thank God that you brought your own computer. Because I went, like the last time I was at QuakeCon was in 2001, and I also didn't have a computer then, and I lamented not being MOC. And this year it's the same thing. I'm sad. I wish that I was here just playing a video.
Well, I mean, I've never been to QuakeCon before, and I think I was expecting it. I was assuming it was going to be more show floor, and in fact, it's heavily weighted towards. So BYOC for people that aren't at QuakeCon and are on the internet means bring your own computer, and it's basically just rows and rows and rows of tables in this huge, like, I don't know, fucking airplane hangar. But that's the biggest LAN setup I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And yeah, it's everybody just brings their own hardware and plays whatever they want.
And then some people just browse Reddit, which is the stupidest thing to me. But whatever. Although the best and most awkward was when I walked past someone, I tweeted this last night, who I saw browsing Reddit, but then he was unfortunately just middle-clicking links that had the red NSFW tag into background tags while sort of looking over his shoulder, and I was like, no, I gotta go to sleep. Horrible.
See, that guy gives way more of a shit than the multiple dudes that I saw who just, their wallpaper
you minimize
was
Minecraft and the breasts.
Yeah, they're just like pouring wallpaper. I'm just like, all right, you just doing it. Don't
Whatever.
give a fuck. Like, it's like, bring your own computer. Yeah, I'm bringing my computer. I'm not changing it. So yeah, it's impressive, and we saw the dude who was the fucking lord.
The highlight of the BYOC area is 52-inch HD TV as monitor lord,
like
where it's just a guy with a screen this big who then had Minecraft running on the equivalent of a 24-inch monitor windowed in there, and then he had IRC in the equivalent of a 20-inch portrait monitor, and then this whole like. 3 square feet was just nothing.
It was background.
And he was like this far from it. It was it was the best. So that guy is my favorite guy. If you're here, you're the best.
I really do. I completely love that how big of a monitor he was, and he's like, oh, but if I want to play Minecraft, I really need a normal sized monitor.
Well, it was the size of that Sharp TV, basically.
Yeah.
He brought his own computer to our panel.
But like,
it was basically that.
I feel like if the next panel isn't using this, we should probably cobble together a computer and set it up next to that guy with that fucking monitor. just
quietly, just sidle next to him,
But we're gonna run Minecraft full screen, so we can actually just see the UI this big. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, but I clearly have selected wool. Yeah. Anyway, that show floor is good.
Yeah.
T-shirt guys throwing stuff, balls being sold. They got everything there.
I heard that you paid $2 for balls.
I was at QuakeCon. I had to drink some balls.
How do you not?
What do they taste like?
What does it taste like?
Yeah, you should be saying what does it taste like. It's true.
It tastes like kind of gross Red Bull. I don't know.
All right, yeah.
That sounds redundant to me.
I kind of like Red Bull.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Right. That's fine.
Yeah, that's all right.
They were chilled. The balls was chilled. Got to keep us in the singular.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Huh?
Nothing.
What's so funny about that? Nothing.
No, I mean,
Popular energy drink.
So yeah, when I first came to QuakeCon, I was just walking around trying to get the lay of the land. Yeah. Well, I mean, like
when I first came to QuakeCon,
within the first like 20 minutes of being within QuakeCon, I was just walking around trying to figure out where stuff was, and I was just hearing people chat and just kind of like balls. I'm like, what? Why are people talking about balls so much? And I'm like, oh, the drink. It was a weird and confusing
experience. The W in there.
Yeah, because you really should pronounce it properly, which is bowels. Then you'd be able to tell.
That's better.
That sounds like a brand opportunity. You should probably contact Bawls.
In addition to setting up our huge TV next to that guy, we're also going to set up our Bawls
station.
Station next to the Bawls people. So
Yeah.
We're just selling balls. Like we've just also ordered wholesale a bunch of their drink, but we're pronouncing it differently. Is that?
Any other sweet games been viewed by you guys?
The Walking Dead.
What?
Sorry, I meant at QuakeCon.
We're not talking about it?
Why you?
All right. No, let's not talk about it, Joe.
We can talk.
No.
he just wants you to be in the awkward position.
I do. That's kind of what I wanted to
Yeah.
happen, but no.
Go.
Actually, my dream is related to Walking Dead, so when we call Sean,
Oh yeah.
I'll get it in then.
we
Should we
actually
do
call
that?
Sean?
I think we're gonna call Sean. Yeah.
Well, you had a dream,
I did. I had a dream.
and you're going to
about
tell Sean about it.
I
right?
am, but we have to call him first.
Okay.
Maybe we should just call Sean.
That's
All right.
weird.
What else?
He
is
said
it?
we should call him.
So we
Do you
just
guys
what
mind
he-
if we call Sean really quick? Okay.
All right, we'll call Sean.
He might not be here.
He might not be.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was happening.
Neither did Sean.
He said he was gonna be around.
Did he answer?
This is terrible. This is what people
this
came
is
to
good radio.
QuakeCon for. Some people flew out to Dallas to hear this.
Well, we did.
Well, yes.
Hi, this is Sean. Please leave a message.
Okay.
Can we just tell the story and then the message?
leave the voicemail on with the dream.
Okay.
Tell him about it.
Okay, so I had this dream.
This is good.
So the dream was I was playing The Walking Dead, and it was basically the first episode of The Walking Dead. But I was walking around, and I
Wait,
completed.
were you in it or were you playing the
I was
video
in it.
Okay.
I was
Were you
in
Nick
The Walking
Brecken
Dead.
or
I
were
was
you
Nick
Lee?
Brecken
Okay.
in The
In-
Walking Dead.
Nick Brecken in The Walking
with my
Dead.
mare, and I was
With your mirror?
Mare.
yeah.
Mare? Like a horse?
Old Brecken's
let's
mare.
not-
Just come
so
on.
I was in The Walking Dead, and I completed The Walking Dead episode 1, and I got to the end, and there was a New Game Plus option, and so I went to the New Game Plus option, and instead of like The Walking Dead and adventure game stuff, there were like bananas from Donkey Kong Country, and I was running around collecting the bananas, and every time I collected a banana, Sean Vanneman's voice would appear, and he would say, "That's the stuff." Like basically like Mortal Kombat, like Toasty. It was Sean just going, "That's the stuff. That's the stuff. That's the stuff" for like an hour, and that was the dream because I was collecting so many bananas. It was just nonstop.
Oh, good. Because you were collecting so
No,
many
we got
bananas.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is maybe
We
a New Game
inferred
Plus
that.
option that you should maybe
So
implement.
can we get you guys saying "that's the stuff" to Sean if I count to 3?
All right. Yeah.
I think we should
Do
go
it.
1, 2, 3.
That's the stuff.
Thank you. And also, we have an episode name now, so that's good.
That was a good voicemail message.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what Sean needs. Whatever. Sean was on this episode, although it was his voicemail greeting.
Yeah.
So that's listen.
Maybe he'll call you back.
Yeah, I'll leave my phone on just in case.
What about CLOP?
We're gonna talk about CLOP.
We could. We could.
Did you
I haven't
play-
played it, so
You did play it or you
I
didn't?
haven't.
I haven't
seen
played it either.
Oh, never mind.
What? We can talk about CLOP for a second. You know what
tell me
CLOP
about
is,
CLOP,
though.
Jake.
Vaguely.
So presumably everyone
Like
here,
18
I hope,
people replied to me yesterday saying
saying CLOP, CLOP, CLOP.
I don't know
You
if the
guys
computer with me,
know.
though.
You guys know QWOP, obviously. And do you?
Strong
Have you been at
agreement from the
QuakeCon?
audience.
Did CLOP get announced before QuakeCon?
It came out yesterday. It was on Friday.
I noticed that CLOP failed to sweep the BYOC area like I was expecting.
I was actually walking around expecting to see it on at least one monitor,
Yeah.
and I didn't
Yeah.
see it.
CLOP is like QWOP, but you play as a unicorn who has to climb a hill.
Yes, it's QWOP. It's QWOP with 4 legs,
Yeah,
basically.
so you have to sort of you press two keys for front,
What
right.
I
So you
front,
already
back.
have 4 keys in QWOP. So what?
It's
Right.
one per leg.
It just makes the horse go like this with its
front-
legs.
yeah. It's lift,
So, like,
leg,
it-
drop.
I'm
or-
glad this is a video podcast.
Yeah, when you press when you
Yeah.
here, let me put out a key here. You press this and a leg goes up, and then you let go and a leg goes down. But when it goes down, it moves forward a little bit. So if you
yeah.
press just the both forward legs, the unicorn just goes like this and then sort of stops
So
until
you're
you move
you're
the back
triggering an
legs.
actual walk animation on each leg, as
Yes.
opposed to
It's
like
up is
physics
the,
impulses.
Up is the
on
first
QWOP.
half, but then it still
Yeah.
is weirdly physics driven, and like his
Okay.
head is not
Oh
really
yeah,
in your control, so it
you
bounces
can
around.
still flip the unicorn.
Yeah,
over
once you you make the unicorn land on its head, you lose.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I
can
see.
you get a unicorn to climb stairs on a hill by making its legs go crazy and
All right.
shit? It's horrible.
Something I mean, the mechanics are great, but I also like
good?
the
I mean, it's the
hilarious. I like the hilarious fiction that. These games are made by a guy named Bennett Foddy, who we interviewed
good
once,
guy.
and he's like a really smart dude. And yeah, he made this little fictional wrapper around it where there's a unicorn standing here, and then it takes place in medieval times, I guess, because there's this sort of like foppish bard kind of guy with like a
Yeah, but
floppy
he's also
hat.
kind of
Like
like
the restaurant medieval times.
yeah,
Okay.
but he's
but
like
the actual medieval times.
Right.
and
Right.
it's all terrible fake old English, and he's saying to the unicorn like, "Hey unicorn, I hear there dost be a virgin over thine hill. Perhaps thou shalt like seek it out or whatever." And so you're trying to do it, and whenever you fail and the unicorn flips over, he's like, "Ha ha, try again, fool," and he just makes fun of you, which is amazing, and I love, especially because Bennett Foddy is this dude who I guess just hates people, so he makes games to make their lives
It
worse.
seems to be the case.
And so like I enjoy that it's just him making fun of you while you play it, and especially because the Olympics are going on, and he is on Twitter and he tweets about the Olympics kind of a lot, which is not surprising, right? Because you make games about like running track and rock climbing and stuff. But all that he's tweeting,
He makes games that look like that.
well, yeah, but they're based on sports, right?
Yeah.
So whatever. So, but the point is, he's watching the Olympics, but all he tweets about is how he really hopes that someone will start crying or like puke, like he's like
Or puke?
Yes, like this is what he's been talking about. He's like, oh, Chen got fourth in the trampoline. I think the tears are coming, and then he'll tweet like 2 minutes later. He's like, darn, no tears. Well, and then like one time he was like, oh, that runner just finished. I don't think he's gonna make it. Looks like he's gonna puke. I was like, this is amazing. So like
his perception of the Olympics is actually he sort of sees it through this weird serial killer filter where they're actually playing his games.
Yeah, right. To him, QWOP is not. That to him is very naturalistic.
Yeah,
Right.
This is
That's-
just when he watches a track and field event. That's what he
He's like,
perceives.
these guys are so fucking good. This must be really stressing him out. He's just imagining their brain pressing keys,
Right, yeah.
like contorting limbs.
yeah. So he doesn't just take glee in players of his video games like completely failing at sports. He also wants professional athletes whose entire lives are like resting on it to get disqualified and break down and crying. We're like, you're an amazing person, guy who made CLOP. It's a pretty good game.
Yeah, it's good.
Fair question.
I think we're at the half-hour mark, which is the middle of our panel, which is when, well, if Chris had a guitar, we'd maybe play a song or something. But we'll splice one in that you guys don't get to see. We'll just splice in the PAX performance of the Wizard for the final version of the video.
Sounds like fun.
No, I think actually what we're thinking about doing is just doing the second half of this as Q&A, if you guys are up for that.
Do people have questions?
anyone
Do
has
people want to
really
ask stuff?
Yeah, if you want to do...
Does
We
anybody
didn't
want-
announce that, so if you don't have
If
questions,
you
that's
don't want to
fine.
say
Nobody has
anything,
questions.
that's fine.
We saved the whole second half.
We've got nothing to talk about, so...
Well, the thing is, like reader mail, somebody can ask one question and then we can talk for 45 minutes. So
all it takes is one. But we don't.
we
have
probably
that.
don't need a ton of questions. Or do we?
Do we have internet questions?
Are you asking me for real?
No. Is this rhetorical? No, it's
Okay, I'm going to do a thing now. Check this out. I'm going to go...
You're going to go to the internet? Are you going to the phones?
No, I'm going to go get the microphone and we're going to...
Oh, we're
Yeah,
actually going to do that.
let's
Okay.
do it.
What else?
All right.
Go, Jake, go.
I don't know. We're streaming.
Do it, Jake. We believe in you.
Woo, Jay! Getting up!
Taking initiative.
Talk into it.
Now it just looks like you're a motivational speaker who's getting up and you're going to like pep up the crowd.
You guys hear what I'm saying?
Now I
on this
can.
microphone?
Now I can.
This is for Steve.
Okay. Hi.
Say the Wizard.
Baboo. Sorry,
Oh, you fucked
did I
it
do it
up.
wrong? Shit.
Does anyone actually want to ask anything to anyone?
Nobody does.
Nobody does, jeez.
Wait, so I see hands.
Oh,
I see
two
hands.
Damn, I'm going to run away from the microphone and go back.
Okay.
There. So it's your job now.
I'll hand it off.
You're carrying the torch.
I'll be Jersmer.
Run.
30 seconds of initiative.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Big fan of your work. Thanks for bringing back the podcast. Really
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really quick. Good God. Also, to anyone who listens to this podcast, and especially to people who backed us on Kickstarter, holy fucking shit. Thank you so much. We didn't say that at the beginning because we took so long to come back that I kind of forgot to say thank you all the time when we do these now. Thank you guys. Jesus, holy Christ.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Kickstarter.
That was amazing and surprising.
Anyway, sorry. Zoom question.
So I have a theory that nobody likes, and some people are actually angry at me that I dare suggest it. So I'm kind of curious what y'all's take is on it.
Sure.
Is this Chick-fil-A related?
No. The gist of my theory is that I think digital distribution will destroy game consoles. And my logic goes like this. So game consoles are sold by places like the Walmarts and Targets of the world. They have next to no margin because they're cheap, right? They're $200 or whatever. And the only way that the Walmarts of the world want to carry game consoles is because they make more money on other things, like selling the games. But if the next version of the PlayStation or the Xbox doesn't even have an optical drive, that takes the games out of the question. So why would they bother to carry them anymore? They could carry something like code cards or whatever that you could type in a code.
Yeah, but what's the point?
Yeah. Well, plus, as soon as people figure out, hey, I could just skip the trip to the store and buy the next one online, it's done.
Yeah.
So the only way that the only way they would carry it is if they were more expensive and there was a margin in it for the store, which would kind of erode the point of a game console.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't think that this could ever happen unless all the companies did it at the same time, because if the next Xbox doesn't have a drive and the PlayStation 3 does, Xbox is out. Is my theory.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's. I mean, I think you're right on the components of that. I mean, I think that what you're pointing out is why the next consoles will all have optical drives. Right. Because the retailers need to have. And so it's not just the retailers, right? Like there's a ton of people in this country and other countries that don't have access to broadband that's good for downloading games from, and they want to go to a store and buy a disc and have the game, because otherwise, Steam does really well and XBLA and everything, but that said, you're going to miss a lot of people if they have to have a high-speed internet connection to play your games. So there's a couple sides to that, but I think that there will be other reasons that the console market, like the hardware side, changes a ton after. I think this is the last generation of consoles that are going to function like the consoles that we know of now. Because I mean, like you said, costs are going so far up, and people have so many other options for how to get their games if they want to. Cost of the hardware and of just making a game that looks good enough to justify buying a new console for and everything, that I think it's just going to be unsustainable after this generation, and I think it's going to be pretty spectacular to watch what happens to consoles in the next 5 or 10 years.
Games are also a weird holdout, right? Like very few other forms of entertainment are still so centered around expensive proprietary boxes that are bought in physical locations. I mean, it's just not. Obviously, there's still people still sell tons of DVD players and
but still
DVDs
far less than were sold 10 years ago.
Exactly right, and it's not.
And you can buy any DVD player you want and
buy
watch any DVD on it.
And also, the movie, when you buy it through iTunes or Amazon Video or whatever,
is with a code or
it's the same. Like it doesn't matter. It makes no difference. You know, the content of the film is the same. Like it doesn't need this expensive process to port a thing to another system and then do this simultaneous rollout and all this nonsense. I mean, I agree with Steve in that I think the next generation absolutely is still going to look very much like this one, but I think you're completely correct in the long term. I mean, it's a kind of an insane business model that consoles are predicated on. It's not the way the rest of the world is moving.
Well, movies and TV and music.
And music's been there a long time.
But it's all moved away
well,
though.
I mean, my guess is that your basic thesis that download digital distribution will destroy consoles is basically true in the long term. I guess I wonder whether you think that's a negative thing.
I think it's great.
I'm up for that. I'd love to never have to buy another piece of dedicated hardware just to play a fucking video game on.
Yeah, the one of the corollary is I'm not 100% sure the PC will be what takes over again. I would love it if it is, because I'm a big PC gamer guy or whatever. But I just kind of, Apple has convinced most of the world that you don't want an optical drive anymore. People are building computers without optical drives and just relying on Steam. We've seen what that's done with retail for PC. You go to GameStop, and there's a smattering of PC games that are all behind the counter, like they're cigarettes or something. So,
well, I play almost everything on PC, and I haven't bought a physical game in years. I mean, there's just no need to at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, I think pretty much on the right track.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Thanks for the applause.
Thank you, that guy.
Sorry, there was that one guy. No, like, what? I just heard that one guy clap, and it was awesome.
All right, first thing, I am 30 minutes late to the cast because I saw Jake walking around, and I thought you guys were in the really big room. So I sat there for 30 minutes. Like, when are you guys going to let us in? Come on.
Man.
So that was a bummer.
Burn.
Like 100 people there right now.
The main thing I wanted to ask is, on the first return cast, Chris, you said you felt like maybe you were too old to enjoy Diablo 3.
I don't know if it's that I'm too old. It's that it's hard for me to, because I'm not old, but I mean, it's
right.
But it's hard for me to, it was just such a direct sequel, right? Like, I mean, it's in a lot of ways mechanically. I mean, I think tonally it's a very different game. But in terms of what it's trying to achieve, like the things Diablo 3 wants me to enjoy are basically the same as the thing Diablo 2 wants to enjoy, even if it goes about them in different ways. And
you played Diablo 2 for like hundreds of hours, right?
Yeah, I played for hundreds of hours. And so it's just impossible for me to put myself in the same mind space as I was a decade ago. Like,
because the only thing I was going to ask was, you really love Torchlight as well.
Yeah.
And, it's very,
Torchlight's even more
2.
similar to Diablo than Diablo 3 is.
Right,
in a lot of ways.
Diablo 3 is a weird system. I was just curious if you think that collates in any way.
Right. So and people have asked me this and have suggested to me that my judgment of those games is very inconsistent, and I think that's totally a fair response. But I guess to me, what is more important now than it probably was to me when I was playing Diablo 2 is not so much the kind of fidelity of the systems in play, and is more what I see in the authorship behind the game. And when I play Torchlight, it feels to me so much like a team that was like agile and just loving the hell out of what they were doing, and just a small team of people making this thing they really cared about, like really came through to me. And I don't doubt for a second that the Diablo 3 team loved what they were making and was really passionate and dedicated about to it. But it just feels like such a bigger product, and in a way that is just not as personally exciting to me right now at this point in my life, which is different than how I would have judged something 10 years ago.
All right, well, if it makes you feel any better, I like Torchlight better. Like, I played Diablo 3, got to Inferno within the first couple of weeks, and I was like, I have nothing to do anymore, so...
I didn't even get that far. I did play a fair amount I played about 20 hours of Diablo 3, maybe a little more than that. And then I was done, and I moved my computer from one place to another, and that kind of just broke the streak, and then I just kind of never just didn't really load it up again ever after that.
I only played it when it was in the beta, but it was just like a video game lullaby to me. I was just fucking falling asleep while I was playing it. Like, it's just such a tune-out game. Just like, I guess I just click on everything. Like, I don't know. It was really, really, really unengaging to me.
Well, now Video Game Lullaby is going to be excerpted and used as a laudatory quote on the box. So.
I don't know. Maybe I needed to be playing on like super hard mode, so I was dying all the time.
No. I mean, that is kind of. I do know what you mean, though. Like, there's an interesting thing about game design, which is that if you tune it too well, a lot of times you can just flatten your curve too much. And I feel like that was true about Diablo 3, where it is such a smooth curve in terms of difficulty, in terms of uncovering items.
Yeah.
Like in Diablo 3, I never had that experience of finding the thing that's 20 levels too high for me and being like, whoa, this is exciting. This is a crazy thing that like someday I'll be able to use. Everything, it feels so tuned and so well polished, whereas Diablo 2 feels like such, it's a big budget game, but it feels so unpolished, and I love it.
It's a phenomenon that you see in Bethesda games too. And
absolutely.
That's why I really enjoy what they did with Skyrim, because it's not as tuned as previous Elder Scrolls games, and you just hit that point where there's just a giant monster dude who basically just smashes your face, and it's not leveled up to what you are, and it basically serves as something like a unique experience, which Otherwise, it would just be a ramp.
Yeah, I think that's something that happens in game design a lot, where it's like the logical conclusion of best practices for tuning something is just to sand off all of the edges and just make it this perfect like unblemished surface of game design. And in fact, there's nothing that's surprising about that, right? And whereas when you're like, well, we're going to basically get it kind of in line, so you never get totally screwed, and you never go too long without finding something that's good, then occasionally you're going to find the outliers where you're like, holy shit, I didn't expect the flaming sword to drop already. I can't wait to use this, or whatever. And I think that can happen in any genre, really.
Well, and I think that's why on Idle Thumbs we really respond to games kind of in the Looking Glass lineage. Like, oh, Sean's calling.
Get him on the speakerphone.
Oh, hey, Sean.
Oh, what's up, dude?
Hey.
Can people hear Sean?
Yeah.
Yes, people can hear you. People can hear you.
Oh, hey, everybody. Is Nick there?
Yes.
Hi, Sean.
Nick, I had this crazy dream about you last night.
What?
Wait, what did he Really?
Okay, let's hear this.
I mean, I don't really remember much, but there was something about bananas, and you felt like you didn't have enough bananas in your life, so every time you would acquire one, I would scream, "That's the stuff to you," and cheer you up. It was a really crazy dream.
That's incredibly coincidental.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh, that's no coincidence.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Twitter chippers.
How is everybody? I miss you all very much.
They like hearing your voice, Sean. Can Sean hear me? No, I don't think so.
When you called me, whatever that was, like half an hour ago, because the idea was that I would call into the panel, that I got the times screwed in my head, because Dallas is not in California, I guess. And, it definitely caught me playing Dota when the phone went off with like 3 thumbs to people, so I feel pretty bad about that in general.
I just want people to know, I have literally no idea what he's saying.
Oh, he said that he was confused about the time because Dallas isn't in California, and he wasn't paying attention to his phone because he was playing Dota.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so that's
all
fine.
right, go back to Dota, Sean.
Later. Understand completely.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you for your contribution.
Yeah, see you, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
That was cool.
So as we were saying, video games.
Next question, I guess.
All
right.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next.
Does anyone else have this gentleman here?
So on sort of the opposite end of Diablo 3, you mentioned Skyrim, and you work with Bethesda, so you play these games all the time. Skyrim recently came on Steam sale for QuakeCon, so it's 50% off. So my friends are finally buying it after, and I look at my Steam, I've got 400 hours in this game, and I'm like, how did I ever do anything for 400 hours, right? I mean,
it's weird.
It's longer than I've kept some jobs.
Experience.
So like, how do you pull it off? Like, what kind of headspace do you get into? I mean, I have to get into it like, this is for my leisure time, so I don't have to do this for my job. But like, if someone's says, okay, you're going to sit here and you're going to do this for 400 hours, or you don't get to eat, like, I don't think I could play video games.
So you're asking?
I mean, you have to play shit, right? I mean, you're not like a playtester or QA or whatever, but
I feel like
you
I've played Dishonored for 400 hours at this point.
Yeah, well, because I mean, you spend a lot of time doing evaluation and like gathering media and stuff, right?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And it's just I mean, developers, you guys know more than I do, but like I've heard that the experience of that is that you're making the game, and then there's a moment at the end where you can just like sit down and enjoy it, and that's always nice. Yeah.
Sometimes there's that moment.
There is that moment for some people.
Sometimes that's years later.
I mean, I was talking to Arcane guys, and they were yeah. I was talking to the Arcane guys yesterday, and they were like, "Yeah, I finally got to like actually play our video game once," and they were really pumped.
Well, that's something that happens on big games a lot. Like I know as a level designer on like a big game, like you're like, okay, this is your level. You're responsible for this hour and a half of the game or whatever. And it's like, all right, I've played that level for about 800 hours, and you don't have time or any reason, like it's not your responsibility to like play other people's stuff until a lot of times, late in development, it's like, all right, everybody, you're not doing any work today. We're taking a couple days, and everybody's going to do a full playthrough. And I think that's probably what those guys are talking about, where it's like, whoa, I got my I actually got to step back from the game and see the rest of it, what everybody else was making, and it is really cool.
You know, for me, it's like the experience of playing like the Unreal Tournament demo 1,000 times, and just like, you know what I mean? Like
I did that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I did too. But like I did that with Skyrim, where I like had to demo the same thing 1,000 times or play the same level 1,000 times, and it's basically that becomes like another game unto itself because it's not finished, and so that is also just something that feels alien once you actually play that finished level. So yeah.
When you start talking about it in the context of the Unreal Tournament demo, this is actually sad and is not actually historically accurate, but I remember when Quake 3 was in beta, and there was like DM17, I think was the only map in that. This is QuakeCon, so I can talk about this, right?
Somewhat relevant.
Yeah, it had DM17, and I remember in Quake 3 in particular, everyone who was playing the Q3 test, I think there was so little in there that people weren't able to extrapolate out what the entirety of Quake 3 was. And then it turned out it was just Q3 test with more maps. And I remember that really pissing some people off.
Right.
But then they forgot that it was actually really good. Play Quake 3. QuakeCon. Anyway, that's
Quake
all.
Live Arena.
Like Unreal Tournament, I don't think that was the case because that game was a wacky
modes.
mechanic zoo and it was a piece of shit. Don't play Unreal Tournament. Holy What? Last time I was here was 2001.
You can't say that.
Unreal Tournament, the original. Why would you play that when you can?
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
This episode is being beamed from the 2001 QuakeCon to today, where we're going to have a Q3 versus UT debate, and I'm going to fucking win.
I fall on the Quake side. You and I have historically fallen on the Quake side, but
no, it's ultimately a better game, but I still thought UT was awesome.
This is good. This is good. I'm glad this is happening.
Anyway, that's why you play Skyrim for 400 hours, because Quake 3 is the superior multiplayer first-person shooter.
All right. Go, JP.
Oh, hi, JP.
Hi. It's JP Le Breton.
What are you were just the loungingest lounger. What is that?
I got a question for you.
Well, JP he needs to lord to ask a question.
Yeah. Well, okay, break it down for us. Actually, 11 years after the fact, let's fight this battle again. Okay, pros and cons. Quake 3 versus Unreal Tournament. What? So in your mind, Jake, you seem to have the strongest opinion here. I
don't really.
I swung both ways. So I enjoyed both.
I thought you were going to say, take us back 11 years. Tell us about QuakeCon 2001. Because I want to hear about that shit.
That's probably more interesting. Yeah, but
what do you remember about it?
I don't really remember a ton about QuakeCon 2001, other than it was in Mesquite and it was double booked with the rodeo, which is awesome. Otherwise, it was really similar, except instead of people playing, there's a surprising amount of Quake Live being played at QuakeCon, which is stupid for me to say because it's QuakeCon.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually honestly expect to see that many basically Q3 games going on. Except in 2001, I was here because I had done some texture work and a little bit of UI for a Quake mod, and so I was
pimp your mod so I can download it. Pimp your mod.
The one that people actually played at QuakeCon was called Pro Ball, which is awesome. And it was a
Got any Pro Ball players in the house?
No one knows Pro Ball.
Show of applause. Pro Ball.
Yeah, that one guy.
Yeah.
Thanks, one dude.
I was more of I was a fan of the competing product Kick Me Quake, but that's because a friend worked on it.
The thing that I remember about QuakeCon, which was actually really depressing to me, was that since people played Quake competitively and they were playing it on 2001 hardware, it just meant that everyone had the lowest possible lighting model. Everyone had all the textures blurred out to be like a 1x1 orange square. So it looked like people were playing these games that, or including the mods, because people were playing those competitively. My friends were all people who did the art stuff on these games, and I was like, this is the people that were making these games for. They just actually turned everything off. This sucks. And then we did one really.
I love the irony of that.
Yeah, it looks like if you love Star Fox, you'll love.
I fucking love that you come to QuakeCon because you're like, oh, I made some sweet textures. Let's go see him in. Oh.
Yeah, so that was my memory of QuakeCon. But then I guess in Quake Live you can't turn all that stuff off as easily. So
you can definitely turn it up so that and if you're playing stock Quake 3, people and I saw people on the BYOC floor still doing that because if you have a
now you can get 3,000 frames.
If you have a Circa 2012 PC, you definitely got to go RPIC MIP 7 or whatever.
How can you play that shit at only 2850 frames per second?
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
I like that we've now just absorbed JP into the panel.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Fifth thumb.
Gross.
I really don't actually care about Unreal Tournament versus Quake at this point. I just remember at the time thinking that it was way more gimmicky and it annoyed me.
Are there embarrassing Usenet posts we could dig up on the Google Groups archive in which you're coming out strongly?
I'm sure that the
No,
internet
there's definitely not. Don't look. There's none of that.
Yeah.
Do not search Jake Rodkin UT3 or you Unreal Tournament, please. Just don't
look at it.
I just thought Unreal Tournament was just fun because it was so crazy. Like it just had crazy mode. I've always liked crazy modes. I mean,
you like a mutator?
Yeah, I mean, and like when I played Halo, for example,
a good fine mutator,
artisanal mutator.
Like when I played Halo, the only mode that I didn't play
Quake 3
was
that was my name.
Artisanal mutator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, like I would always just play everything except deathmatch, except in Q3, obviously. But like games that have crazy modes, I always just play the crazy mode instead of the
or just the crazy map.
Yeah, or the crazy map or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a mishmash game of like 1,000 early.
You launched 6 rockets while in the low gravity thing while someone was firing a first-person guided missile at you, and then I went ugh.
Well, also, you were on like a vaguely World War II map because that was just what you did then. Like, that's sort of what I remember about Unreal Tournament. Also, I think that was in the demo. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you like storm the beaches. I think it's
I thought the demo of Unreal Tournament was the like map where you're floating around in huge space.
Yeah, there was that
skyscrapers.
DM Morpheus.
Yes.
You know all this shit. Like, yeah. Do we have another question? Anyone? Yes. Question, dude.
All right, I'd like to address the guys at Double Fine. There's always that guy that...
That's just me right now.
Chris.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I mean, JP.
Well, JP also right there.
But JP already spoke. Yeah. You got your token talking out for this episode.
Well, everybody loves Tim Schafer. And
he's
there's
a good
always
guy.
that one dickhole that asks the same question, what's it like working with Tim Schafer? But just working around the office, maybe in time for like a deadline or some random thing, but do you have like maybe an off-the-wall story just working with Tim?
I don't know if I have any off-the-wall stories about Tim. Tim's an awesome boss, though. He's really, really cool. He's a really good guy. It is a really good office. It's fun. There's a lot of food-related challenges that happen at Double Fine, which is really weird. There's one called the Chavos Challenge, which there's this Mexican JP knows. There's this Mexican restaurant a couple blocks away called Chavos, which is like notorious at Double Fine. And there's, depending on who you talk to, Chavos is either just stomach disaster, or it's a really nice place to eat. And so there's about,
Depends on who's working the back that day.
What's that?
Depends on who's working the back that day.
Yeah, I think it actually just depends. It depends on the thickness of the stomach lining of the person responding. And so a couple months ago, there was the Chavos Challenge, which was it a week or was it 10 days, JP?
It was a work week.
It was a work, yeah. So the challenge was to go to eat Chavos every day for an entire week, and it was horrible. Only one guy made it, and it was the guy who, it's just the one guy who's the Chavo, like the champion for Chavos. So like, of course he made it, just leaving a trail of intestinal destruction in his wake.
They win anything for it?
Then there was also
were there rules for this? Did you have to order a specific thing? Because I mean,
anything you order is just enormous. Well, you can't just get chips and salsa. Right? You have to, you have to make an honest.
I'll take the nice side salad.
But in terms of another food-related challenge, since you asked about rules, there's another food-related challenge that had very explicit rules, which is the McDonald's challenge, which is you must go to McDonald's, you must eat at McDonald's every day for a week, and you bring $10, and you must spend all $10 only from the value menu. And there's a very specific range of things that can be ordered from the value menu. There's not really any way to cheat this. Like, you can't just get a bunch of sodas because they're not on there.
The actual volume of food will be high.
It's distressing.
I mean, you could probably try to game it, but you would end up with like plus or minus one cheeseburger.
Yeah, probably, right. No, there's not really any way to game it because everything is just
as far as volume goes, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you just get a bunch of orders of fries, or maybe fries aren't even on there. They're not. So everyone just comes back with like 10 sandwiches. It's crazy. Just a bag of cheeseburgers that they have to, and
that's a one-day thing, right? That's not
no, that's the entire week.
Well, that's just fucking impossible.
It's totally impossible. And
I mean, did anyone pass it?
I don't think anyone did. I think the closest.
How the fuck could you?
I think Jeremy came the closest. He ate like 8 out of 10 things, and everyone was cheering him on. And he's just like, guys, it's completely impossible. This is not going to fit inside this corporeal form.
The worst would be if over the course of the week the McDonald's challenge became easier.
What, as you just expand yourself?
Yeah, as you're like, the first day it takes you 2 or 3 hours, and by the end you're like, value meal $10, please. Just.
Do you guys do drinking games as well, or just
do we what?
practice? Do you guys do drinking games as well, or do you guys like your intestinal tracks like
we don't No, we don't really do drinking games. Although we do every once in a while, every month or two, we have a really cool day called the Hoff, which is where we just put all the because Double Fine is made up of 4 or 5 teams at this point, and we just put all our games out across the studio and just have bring in food and drinks, and everyone walks around and plays all the games that the other teams are working on, and that gets to something that Steve was talking about. Where you're working on a game or you're working at a company and you don't necessarily know everything that's going on all the time on all the development. So it's actually really, especially at a company like Double Fine, where we make several games at once, it's really cool to see the things that your buddies are making that you just haven't seen because they're heads down at their desk most of the time and you don't come in contact with that stuff. So it's always really surprising to see all the cool stuff that your buddies have come up with in the last month or two.
Awesome.
Yeah, Double Fine's a good place to work.
I think we have 2 more questions worth of time, if those exist. There's one of them.
It's Chris Failer.
What?
So we have one.
Yeah, so we have time for
this man to be ejected.
I was just wondering what your thoughts are on HBO's current lineup and the upcoming season.
I don't know. What's on HBO right now?
Wait, what?
What?
Thank you for your question. Next.
Yeah. It turns out we have time for 3 questions. Seriously, are people not going to put their hand up until we talk about HBO's current season?
What do you think about Newsnight?
I noticed you have a NASA tattoo. That's awesome.
Oh, I do. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, NASA's cool.
Are you associated with NASA or just a fan?
Just a fan.
That's extra.
That's
awesome.
more awesome.
You've chosen the 80s logo as well?
Yeah, the worm style. It's
the good one.
Both NASA logos are pretty sweet. You don't like the classic one? What? What? Whatever.
Jake is just instigator of pointless.
I like both NASA
The classic
logos.
Unreal Tournament logo is way better. Sorry. What was your question?
All right. It pertains to Windows 8, the Metro. Do y'all
First, it's no longer called the Metro UI. Microsoft was told by their legal team that because someone else owns the name Metro, they have to now refer to it as the Windows 8 style UI across all platforms.
Really?
So I hope you're enjoying your Xbox 360 with its Windows 8 style UI. Anyway, don't call it that anymore.
Okay,
Thanks.
I won't, no. Off limits. Gabe Newell said it was a disaster for PC gaming. Are y'all afraid of that at all?
I'm not afraid.
I don't know if I'm afraid
there have
of
been
it.
plenty of revisions of Windows that have come out that nobody fucking bought. Did anybody buy Windows ME? Right? I mean, if it's that, it came bundled on your Compaq Presario, right? But
the scorn dripping from your mouth.
All I'm saying is Windows 8 can be bad, but that doesn't mean it's actually going to be adopted, right? There have been versions of Windows that are so bad that nobody buys them, and they just stick with the prior version that actually worked, and then Microsoft puts something else out to paper over it.
Isn't there a way to just basically turn it?
You can turn Metro off.
Right?
I think that what you're saying is going to be invalid just because I don't think Microsoft really believed in Windows ME either. Yeah. I think Microsoft is putting everything they possibly have into Windows 8, across everything. Their tablet thing, their phone now looks like it. The Xbox looks like it. I don't think they're going to let it go. I think what this is actually going to be is closer to and I would like to be wrong because I think it's weird. Well, actually, back that up. I actually think that what they're doing with the Windows 8 UI is really interesting and cool, but not for mouse and keyboard based stuff. Yeah. But what this feels to me more like, for better or worse, is when Microsoft put Internet Explorer out, everyone said, this is bullshit. And then they said, is it? We're going to put all our fucking money into this for 10 years until it's really good, and then it's going to be bad later. And the same thing happened with the Xbox, where everyone's like, that's just a computer with a box that you're trying, and they're like, nope, you know what? We actually are putting everything into this. Fuck you, you're going to have one. And now, there was a solid, at least 3/4 of a decade where everyone used IE, and there was and I feel like Windows 8 is going to be shoved down your throat. And it maybe the next one of them is going to be good, or the one after that, but I feel like this feels like one of the Microsoft is actually committed to this things instead of the Microsoft is making a weird, horrible thing, which is what ME felt like Bob or something, where it's as long as going away.
As long as game developers can still just target the system and just not have to build for Metro, I don't really care that much.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Your UI must incorporate the Metro.
No, I just mean
library.
if it's not, I feel like it's unlikely to really affect me all that much if I, you know what I mean? Like, what does that have to do necessarily with PC games?
Civ 6 requires a stylus.
Well, there are already games like like Skulls of the Shogun that is going to require Windows 8, and like anything that illegal, fucking illegal. Anything that comes out that anybody that wants Microsoft money so that they can put their game on the native Microsoft App Store that's attached to the basic experience of Windows 8 is going to have to.
That's true.
Say, hey,
That's true.
okay, well, now we require Windows 8 because we want to be on your App Store, and you can opt out of that. But like, there are a lot of people that aren't going to, or aren't going to really have the practical option to, right?
We'll see how common that is, though, because most game developers who put games on PC don't communicate with Microsoft about it ever.
Actually, is the App Store going to mean now that to be Microsoft certified as a game, you don't need to go through Games for Windows Live, but you can go through the same App Store certification process that everyone else who wants to be on Windows 8 does? Because if so, that means Windows 8 is actually probably going to be good for like AAA PC games. Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah,
just saying that. Just because it's a better, worse thing.
So yeah, so Games for Windows Live, as far as I'm aware, is totally going away / being rolled into that. But my understanding is that.
Can we let JP talk before we're done?
Well, sure, but all I'm saying is, what I understand is that their App Store is very much based on Xbox Live style stuff. That's like very small footprint and basically like touch focus.
So it's going to be the same as Games for Windows Live, except there will actually be employees paying attention to your games that go through the certification process.
I don't think so.
Because GFWL and Xbox certification are really similar, but you just sit in the Games for Windows Live queue forever because I don't think that it's as high of a priority. Anyway, what are we talking about? Hi, video games.
I think the reason that Gabe Newell and whoever Blizzard guy were really down on Windows 8 is because...
We call him Gabe Newell and whatever Blizzard guy.
Refer to him as Blizzard.
WB guy.
Yeah, is because the Windows... what they're worried about is that the Windows App Store will be the Internet Explorer analog. Gabe Newell is worried about Steam becoming the Netscape.
He's worrying about proprietary,
he's worrying about Steam becoming the Netscape to
that's exactly what he's worried
Microsoft's Internet Explorer, to their marketplace.
Right.
Because, if it's a marketplace that's built into the operating system instead of one that you have to install or something, that's bad news for him. And Microsoft, depending on how much Microsoft wants to be a dick about it, they could really do some anti-competitive, nasty stuff.
Yeah, and from his perspective, the reason that it's a whatever he said, catastrophe for PC gamers is because it closes the platform, right? Like he's saying PC is an open platform. If Microsoft basically strong arms everybody into using their marketplace instead of Steam, well, now all PC games that want to be viable have to go through Microsoft cert, and you've seen how fun that is for console developers. So we'll see. The
thing I think is different between this and the Internet Explorer analogy is that, or in that analogy is different, is that Netscape, what happened in Netscape with an Internet Explorer was in an era before the internet was...
It was in an era before the internet.
No, before it was as sort of intrinsic a part of all of our horrible lives as it is now. And whereas I think people at this point, I mean, maybe this will change, I don't know, but I feel like people who go out of their way to play PC games are generally a pretty aware group of people about their platform. Like if you're going to go out of your way to have a PC that is capable of running games and you're going to buy a game and download it on PC, you probably are aware generally of the environment more so than someone in 1995 or whenever who just was like, what's the internet? Oh, there's this Internet Explorer thing. Like, I guess I'll use that.
I guess I'll explore it.
I think we need to shut this down because we're actually out of time, but I will say, you say that, but right now, Steam has risen to prominence in an amazing way without ever spending $1 saying the word Steam.
Yeah.
And you know that Microsoft is going to spend dollars saying the words App Store.
So maybe Valve should start doing that too.
That's weird. I mean, but that is why Gabe Newell weeps.
It's competition.
Yeah.
Dollars.
I guess all I'll say
it's not the worst for Steam to finally have some competition.
It's honestly not.
I mean,
anyway.
But I mean, like, you had to put a leaderboard in Wallace and Gromit on Xbox. Do you want to have to do that on your fucking computer?
Yes.
But he's not going to have to target that, though. They don't
but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how fast Microsoft
I feel like
moves,
what
right?
the future needs is leaderboards in every game.
Done.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Are we not at QuakeCon, the home of competitive gaming? Do we not love leaderboards in Proteus? Or what?
Are we not entitled to
Proteus?
What is Proteus? Wait.
What? It's that Ridley Scott movie. I heard it wasn't that good.
No, what game am I fucking thinking of?
I have no...
Proteus. The pixel art experiential
Proteus.
game where you walk
Yeah.
around hills
Yeah,
and,
that's
and
Proteus. Yeah.
Prometheus.
Not Prometheus.
Oh, Avatar.
What? Oh, Avatar.
Oh.
Thank you guys for coming to the Alabama live panel.
Thank you, everybody. It was great.